chapter?
62.
Where that's
They got their apocrypha.
Sirach.
Yes, Sirach. Yes.
Sirach,
Oh, that's
Chapter
the wisdom of Sirach.
19.
Oh, I wasn't.
chapter 18.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I was already there. What's it doing?
I knew where we were.
Roy Rogers used to do that too. When he'd meet some criminal in jail, he'd say, well, let's read some of the Psalms. He'd open right up to it. I don't know if somebody offset found that for him or what.
Aw.
Okay, chapter 18. Remember how to read?
So half of the time I can't see with my glasses or without them, but we'll try.
Just remember, pause at the commas, stop at the periods.
Okay, got it. He who lives forever created the whole universe. The Lord alone is just. To none has he given power to proclaim his works. And who can search out his mighty deeds? Who can measure his majestic power? And who can fully recount his mercies? Is it not possible to diminish? It is not possible to diminish or increase them, nor is it possible to fathom the wonders of the Lord. When human beings have finished, they are just beginning, and when they stop, they are still perplexed. What are human beings, and of what use are they? What is good in them, and what is evil? The number of days in their life is great if they reach 100 years. Like a drop of water from the sea and a grain of sand, so are a few years among the days of eternity. That is why the Lord is patient with them and pours out his mercy upon them. He sees and recognizes that their end is miserable. Therefore he grants them forgiveness all the more. The compassion of human beings is for their neighbors, but the compassion of the Lord is for every living thing. He rebukes and trains and teaches them, and turns them back as a shepherd his flock. He has compassion on those who accept his discipline and who are eager for his precepts. My child, do not mix reproach with your good deeds or spoil your gift by harsh words. Does not the dew give relief from the scorching heat? So a word is better than a gift. Indeed, does not a word surpass a good gift? Both are to be found in a gracious person. A fool is ungracious and abusive, and the gift of a grudging giver makes the eyes dim.
Let's pause for just a minute. Do we understand, or do you hear what Sirach is saying at this part? He's not saying reject people who do wrong. Straighten them out. And the same thing we hear in Matthew, pointing out faults rather than dismissing someone out of hand. That this is why the Lord is patient with them, lavishing his mercy upon them. He sees and knows the harsh fate in store for them, and therefore gives full play to his forgiveness. Man's compassion is only for his neighbor, but the Lord's compassion is for every living thing. So, he's saying, if someone wrongs you, straighten them out, but don't turn your back on them. And he says, why do we do this? Because God does it. God forgives us even when we're sinners.
Before you speak, learn. And before you fall ill, take care of your health. Before judgment comes, examine yourself. And at the time of scrutiny, you will find forgiveness. Before falling ill, humble yourself, and when you have sinned, repent. Let nothing hinder you from paying a vow promptly, and do not wait until death to be released from it. Before making a vow, prepare yourself. Do not be like the one who puts the Lord to the test. Think of his wrath on the day of death, and of the moment of vengeance when he turns away his face. In the time of plenty, think of the time of hunger. In days of wealth, think of poverty and need. From morning to evening, conditions change. All things move swiftly before the Lord. One who is wise is cautious in everything. When sin is all around, one guards against wrongdoing. Every intelligent person knows wisdom and praises the one who finds her. Those who are skilled in words become wise themselves and pour forth apt proverbs. Self-control. Do not follow your base desires, but restrain your appetites. If you allow your soul to take pleasure in base desire, it will make you the laughing stock of your enemies. Do not revel in great luxury, or you may become impoverished by its expense. Do not become a beggar by feasting with borrowed money when you have nothing in your purse. Should I go on?
No, let's pause there.
Okay.
But you notice how those kind of run on? I mean, there's no breaking between chapter 18 and 19. And you know why that may be? They wrote these things on scrolls. And when they still had space left, they kept writing. Because you don't want to waste a good scroll. I mean, those were expensive. And so a lot of times, and we find this also in the New Testament, a lot of times they just keep going. That's why Paul's letters, do you know how Paul's letters are arranged?
Longest to shortest.
Longest to the shortest. And the reason for that is, let's put the long ones out there, and if we still have some space, we'll add to it. And you know, if we get down the end and we got 3 more to go, we can start a new scroll. But you know, we don't want to waste papyrus or whatever they're writing these on. So they do run over. Now, the end of 18, we're again being told that we need to be compassionate. We need to be understanding. And things change. Between the dawn and the dusk, times may alter. All change comes quickly when the Lord wills it. A wise man will always be on his guard. When sin is rife, he will beware of negligence. Every man of some sense makes acquaintance with wisdom. If you got an ounce of sense, you'll listen to wisdom. And you know, so here we have wisdom becoming more codified as a thing. And again, what do we tend to equate wisdom with as Christians?
The Spirit.
This Holy Spirit.
She, the Spirit.
Yes, yes. And here we see that, you know, the Spirit is
Feminine.
yes. And again, that, you know, we have God the Father, wisdom the Mother. That, you know, God really is not a sexual person. But we always talk about God the Father. But we also understand that wisdom is the feminine that balances off God, yin and yang. So
I know you get verse 2 in the next chapter.
no fear looking ahead.
I have a question on verse 21. It says, before falling ill. Is there another version of what that might mean?
I think what that means is before you die.
Oh.
You know, when you get sick and
Okay.
die. So before falling ill, make your peace.
Okay.
Show your patience as soon as you sin. Let nothing hinder a prompt discharge of your vows. Do not wait until death to be absolved. You know, that's kind of like the jailhouse confessions.
I didn't know if it meant like you could heal yourself of diseases. I just wondered what it meant, but that makes sense. End of life.
Well, it says before, that's in 19, it says before you speak, learn. Before you fall sick, consult a doctor.
It says, eat your vegetables.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It says, before you fall ill, eat your vegetables.
Oh,
That phrase I didn't mind.
that's interesting.
Yeah, I've erased that from mine. I'm not real big on vegetables, although I will eat broccoli.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
That is a real interesting thing.
What does yours say about on verse 21?
It may be more about the end of life than that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, shall we move on to 19 and get to Bob's smutty passage?
The one who does this will not become rich. One who despises small things will fall little by little. Wine and women lead intelligent men astray, and the man who consorts with prostitutes is reckless. Decay and worms will take possession of him, and the reckless person will be snatched away. One who trusts others too quickly has a shallow mind, and one who sins does wrong to himself. One who rejoices in wickedness will be condemned, but one who hates gossip has less evil. Never repeat a conversation, and you will lose nothing at all. With friend or foe, do not report it, and unless it would be a sin for you, do not reveal it. For someone may have heard you and watched you, and in time will hate you. Have you heard something? Let it die with you. Be brave, it will not make you burst. Having heard something, the fool suffers birth pangs like a woman in labor with a child. Like an arrow stuck in a person's thigh, so is gossip inside a fool. Question a friend, perhaps he did not do it, or if he did, so that he may not do it again. Question a neighbor, perhaps he did not say it, or if he said it, so that he may not repeat it. Question a friend, for often it is slander, so do not believe everything you hear. A person may make a slip without intending it. Who has not sinned with his tongue? Question your neighbor before you threaten him, and let the law of the Most High take its course. The whole of wisdom is fear of the Lord, and in all wisdom there is the fulfillment of the law. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, nor is there prudence in the counsel of sinners. There is a cleverness that is detestable, and there is a fool who merely lacks wisdom. Better are the God-fearing who lack understanding than the highly intelligent who transgress the law. There is a cleverness that is exact but unjust, and there are people who abuse favors to gain a verdict. There is the villain bowed down in mourning, but inwardly he is full of deceit. He hides his face and pretends not to hear, but when no one notices, he will take advantage of you. Even if lack of strength keeps him from sinning, he will nevertheless do evil when he finds opportunity. A person is known by his appearance, and a sensible person is known when first met face to face. A person's attire and hearty laughter and the way he walks show what he is.
Okay. Although you should never judge a book by its cover. This is really an interesting thing, because we're looking, the book of Sirach is saying you should not spread rumors. I mean, it's just really very clear. And have you heard a rumor? Let it die with you. Never fear, it will not make you burst.
That's funny.
I love that. A fool with a secret goes through agony like a woman in childbirth. as painful as an arrow through the thigh, is a rumor in the heart of a fool. Confront your friends with gossip about him, that he may not have done it. Or if he did it, he will know that he should not do it again. You know, one of the hardest places on earth to deal with rumors is the church, because somebody will hear something or think they heard something, and they'll tell somebody else, and they'll tell somebody else, and that really can hurt a congregation. I spent 10 years working with Presbyterians, and I was an interim pastor for one Presbyterian church that the pastor had lost his voice. They think it was a stress-related thing. He was an older guy, but he just lost his voice. And he was a friend of mine. This was a Presbyterian church in the town where I live. And so they called me as an interim. And the first thing I noticed is that there were all kinds of stories about Don and how he lost his voice and what he did. And finally, one day there was a meeting at the church, and somebody shared, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard.
Yeah.
And I said, "Who'd you hear that from?" "I'd rather not say." "Well, I would rather you say, because we're going to trace this rumor back to where it started." And she told me who she heard it from. And it was a woman who sang in the choir. And that night, they had choir practice. And I stood in the parking lot till this woman pulled in. And I said, "I understand you said so-and-so." "Well, that's what I heard." And I said, "Who did you hear it from?" "I'd rather not say."
Yeah.
"Well, I would rather you do say, because we're going to trace this back." And I traced it all the way back to the first person who said it. And they said, "Well, I didn't really say it that way. I said, wouldn't it be interesting if this were the case?" And I said, "Well, that's not the rumor that's spreading. So stop talking about it." Well, I gotta tell you, rumors dried up real quick in that congregation.
Except about you.
Yeah.
The ones you didn't hear about.
Yeah. But if I heard a rumor, I'd say, "Where'd you hear from?" And people started, they'd hear somebody say something. They said, "Well, where'd you hear that?" And then they started walking them back. I think, and this is what this is trying to say. Never repeat what you hear, and you will never be the loser. Tell no one about a friend or foe, unless silence makes you an accomplice. And never betray a man's secret. Well, you just start tracing it back. And it's the hardest thing in the world, in the church. But I think churches that do that minimize the rumors. It's just unfortunate. And I've had congregations where, rumors get started, and I try to trace them back as much as I can. But you do meet that one person and say, "Well, I'm not going to tell you who it was." I said, "Well, you were willing to share their story. Why don't you share their name?" And when people find out you're going to hold them accountable, they tend to stop telling rumors. Because the rumor that ends up being told is usually not true. They're just...
And it gets embellished along the way.
Yes. Yes. And all of a sudden people start tying other things to that rumor, and pretty soon it just blows up. And my concern with this Presbyterian congregation was they were going to have to call a pastor. And it was not going to be me. But I was not going to leave that job to the next pastor. Let people get upset with me for holding their feet to the fire. That was always the easiest thing for me, because I was going to be gone. And, you know, I would hear occasionally in coffee hour somebody say, well, I wouldn't spread that around because Pastor Larry is going to chat with you about where you heard that. So, but I think, you know, that's what wisdom is saying. If you don't spread it, it's not going to kill you. I mean, you just let it end with you. But boy, there's something about gossip that people like. And you know, the old saw that women are gossipers. Well, men are the same.
Yeah.
We don't call it gossip. We call it sharing. But you know, if the juicier, the more you want to share it. And I think sometimes, if you're the object of a rumor, you're better off going to the person who's told it and say, I understand you're telling people this. Where did you hear that? No one likes to be confronted for doing something. So, did you hear while Ted was in Spain?
Did you see we all sat forward?
Say it slow. Say it slow.
Well, are there fires over there? And
There's fires everywhere.
is he in danger?
No,
Oh, okay.
no,
You can't trust Facebook.
no.
There's all these fires in Spain on a road that people are walking on.
Oh,
So I'm thinking, is that where he is?
Well, he's on that journey to the cathedral. But there's the road he's taken, but there's also a road that starts in Portugal that goes there. I think there are like 5 or 6 paths that you can take to that place. And, you know, there may be a fire on one of the roads, but, you know, they would put fires out pretty quick over there. They don't have a lot of the underbrush. And trees that they have are usually olive trees. And they would put those fires out real quick. In fact, one of their major exports are olives. And you know who they exported to? Italy.
Oh my God.
Because we like to buy Italian oil. And it's, you know, we assume that all those olives are grown in Italy. They're not.
Is this just a rumor?
No, that was a rumor that all those olives were grown in Italy. They're not. Because I was surprised when we were in Spain, and the guide said, "Look out there! Look at all those." He said, "What do you think all those are going to be exported to?" Italy.
Yeah.
The Italians buy it, and then they make
pink oil,
Thanks.
extra.
EBV oil. It doesn't say where they got it, but their presses are special, I guess. They also do grow grapes in Spain, but they're really more known for olives. And also soccer players. They raise a good crop of soccer players.
And they're a little island off of Morocco.
Yes. Now, what's the name of that island?
Circa or CER, or something.
Quest. Wait. Or something.
Yeah, they've got a couple really nice vacation spots. In fact, the tourists are overrunning it, and now they're charging people who go there money. You know, when your plane lands, you've got to pony up $12 or something.
Wow.
And they're doing the same thing in Barcelona. The people who live there are just so upset with the crowds. And I got to tell you, when we were there, it's been a few years, but there were crowds. I mean, some of the main street that goes out to the Mediterranean is just wall-to-wall people. So,
Having fun.
No, it's not. And, then you get there about 4 or 5 o'clock, all the people who came in on cruise ships are all heading back to get to the ship so they can eat. So Photoshop now has a thing that you can use. If there are people in the picture, it can remove the people.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, using AI. And you plug it in and you say, remove the people from the street. And they say, it'd be easier to move the street from the people. I mean, it's just really crowded. So, anyway, 20, chapter 20.
There is a rebuke that is untimely, and there is the person who is wise enough to keep silent. How much better it is to rebuke than to fume. And the one who admits his fault will be kept from failure. Like a eunuch lusting to violate a girl is the person who does right under compulsion. Some people keep silent and are thought to be wise, while others are detested for being talkative. Some people keep silent because they have nothing to say, while others keep silent because they know when to speak. The wise remain silent until the right moment, but a boasting fool misses the right moment. Whoever talks too much is detested, and whoever pretends to authority is hated.
Okay, let me pause you for just a minute, because verse 4 says, like a eunuch longing to seduce a girl. That's an interesting passage, because eunuchs can't seduce a girl. I mean, they've been fixed, as we would call it in the veterinarian
Like a gelding
business.
or a steer
Yeah.
for a human.
Unless the eunuch is saying, boy, I wish I had all my equipment back so I could. But I just thought when you read that, that's an interesting analogy. One man is silent and is found to be wise, another is hated for his endless chatter. Okay, I'm not going to say anything else.
It's funny.
There may be good fortune for a person in adversity, and a windfall may result in a loss. There is the gift that profits you nothing, and the gift to be paid back double. There are losses for the sake of glory, and there are some who have raised their heads from humble circumstances. Some buy much for little, but pay for it 7 times over. The wise make themselves beloved by only few words, but the courtesies of fools are wasted. A fool's gift will profit you nothing, for he looks for recompense 7-fold. He gives little and upbraids much. He opens his mouth like a town crier. Today he lends and tomorrow he asks back. Such a one is hateful to God and humans. The fool says, I have no friends and I get no thanks for my good deeds. Those who eat my bread are evil-tongued. How many will ridicule him, and how often? A slip on the pavement is better than a slip of the tongue. The downfall of the wicked will occur just as speedily. A coarse person is like an inappropriate story, continually on the lips of the ignorant. A proverb from a fool's lips will be rejected, for he does not tell it at the proper time.
Okay, let's stop again there. This is just really a whole series of proverbs, kind of woven together. The fool says, I have no friends and I get no thanks for my kindness. Though they eat my bread, they speak ill of me. How everyone will laugh at him, and how often. Better slip on a stone floor than slip of the tongue. You could needlepoint that on a pillow, put in the living room. All of these just, the thread of advice just kind of winds through this. And there's not really a lot of continuity as we read this. But I know every time you read one, I think, wow, that's true. That's good. It's kind of like reading Ben Franklin's stuff. So, okay, I'm sorry. Here I am. Fool opens his mouth again.
This does have like paragraph headings. Do you want me to read those?
Yeah.
Because that one was inappropriate speech. Now this one is lying. A lie is an ugly blot on a person. It is continually on the lips of the ignorant. A thief is preferable to a habitual liar, but the lot of both is ruin. A liar's way leads to disgrace, and his shame is ever with him. Proverbial sayings. The wise person advances himself by his words. The one who is sensible pleases the great. Those who cultivate the soil heap up their harvest, and those who please the great atone for injustice. Favors and gifts blind the eyes of the wise. Like a muzzle on the mouth, they stop reproofs. Hidden wisdom and unseen treasure, of what value is either? Better are those who hide their folly than those who hide their wisdom.
Okay. I like that. Hidden wisdom and buried treasure. What use is there in either? If you don't share your wisdom or you bury your treasure, what do you have? Should we move right on to 21?
Various sins. Have you sinned, my child? Do so no more, but ask forgiveness for your past sins. Flee from sin as from a snake, for if you approach sin, it will bite you. Its teeth are lion's teeth and can destroy human lives. All lawlessness is like a two-edged sword. There is no healing for the wound it inflicts. Panic and insolence may waste away riches, thus the house of the proud will be laid waste.
Let me pause you there. I hate to interrupt you in the middle like that, but
It's okay.
you see the connection there? Avoid wrong as you would a viper, or if you go near, it will bite you. Its teeth are like lion's teeth. Where else do we see a snake appear in the Bible?
Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden. So there could be the same kind of connotation. What did the snake in the Garden of Eden do? Told a lie. Tricked them into eating the fruit of the tree, which we assume is an apple. And, that's the same thing we have here. Avoid wrong as you would a viper. If you go near, it will bite you, but it's going to say, I won't bite you. What's the story of the tarantula and the frog? The tarantula and the frog came to a river, and they wanted to get to the other side, and the tarantula says, I'll get on your back and you can give me a ride over there. And the frog says, no, you'll bite me and I'll die. He says, no, I won't do that because I want to get to the other side. So the frog says, well, get on my back. Halfway across the river, the tarantula, the scorpion, stings the frog, and the frog starts to die. And the frog said, you told me you wouldn't bite me. And the scorpion says, it's part of my makeup. That's who I am. So that I don't know if it's an Aesop's fable, but that's saying some people are scorpions, and you can't trust them. And that's kind of what he's saying here. Avoid wrong as you would a viper. Because if you go wrong, if you do the wrong, you're going to get bit by the scorpion. So, I'm sorry.
Is it 5?
Yes.
The prayer of the poor goes from their lips to the ears of God, and his judgment comes speedily. Those who hate reproof walk in the sinner's steps, but those who fear the Lord repent in their heart. The mighty in speech are widely known when they slip. The sensible person knows it. Whoever builds his house with other people's money is like the one who gathers stones for his burial mound. An assembly of the wicked is like a bundle of tow, and their end is a blazing fire. The way of sinners is paved with smooth stones, but at its end is the pit of Hades. Wisdom and foolishness. Whoever keeps the law controls his thoughts, and the fulfillment of the fear of the Lord is wisdom. The one who is not clever cannot be taught, but there is a cleverness that increases bitterness. The knowledge of the wise will increase like a flood, and their counsel like a life-giving spring. The mind of a fool is like a broken jar. It can hold no knowledge. When an intelligent person hears a wise saying, he praises it and adds to it. When a fool hears it, he laughs at it and throws it behind his back. A fool's chatter is like a burden on a journey, but delight is found in the speech of the intelligent. The utterance of a sensible person is sought in the assembly, and they ponder his words in their minds. Like a house in ruins is wisdom to a fool, and to the arrogant, knowledge is talk that has no meaning. To a senseless person, education is fetters on his feet, and like manacles on his right hand. A fool raises his voice when he laughs, but the wise smile quietly. To the sensible person, education is like a golden ornament, and like a bracelet on the right arm. The foot of a fool rushes into a house, but an experienced person waits respectfully outside. A boor peers into the house from the door, but a cultivated person remains outside. It is ill-mannered for a person to listen at a door. The discreet would be grieved by the disgrace. The lips of babblers speak of what is not their concern, but the words of the prudent are weighed in the balance. The mind of fools is in their mouth, but the mouth of the wise is in their mind. When an ungodly person curses an adversary, he curses himself. A whisperer degrades himself and is hated in his neighborhood.
Okay. Well, I was going to stop you again, but I've done that too often. Listening to a fool, verse 16. How did yours say that?
A fool's chatter is like a burden on a journey, but delight is found in the speech of the intelligent.
This translation says, listening to a fool is like traveling with a heavy pack. That there's probably nothing in there that you need. And it's going to weigh you down. Back when I was 50 or 60 pounds lighter, I used to go backpacking. And after your first backpack, you realize you need to take only the stuff you need. And all of a sudden you start, I don't really need that. Because you want to lighten that pack as much as possible. So when he says listening to a fool is like traveling with a heavy pack, it's a burden. But there is delight to be found in intelligent conversation. So, if you have intelligent conversation, that's not a heavy load to carry. It's not a burden. So I like the backpack analogy. But again, all these things are just, just kind of like when you have a grandchild. Once a day, you just send them a couple verses. Because all of this is really just a good advice.
Little snippets that are short to the point.
Yes. So.
What does yours say in verse 9? That word T-O-W? An assembly of the wicked is like a bundle of Tau? Is it Tau or Toe or what?
Mine says a gathering of lawless men is like a bundle of tow, which ends up going up in flame. And I don't know what a bundle of tow is, but
So is that the little twigs and stuff you'd gather before you start a campfire with?
I think that must be.
That makes
That's the
sense.
implication I was getting.
Okay, that makes sense.
Charles says.
Yeah, in To Kill a Mockingbird,
I didn't know that word.
they were accusing that black man, and there was some words and stuff that the author used, and Schifferow, I think, was one of them. The other one was toe. And when they got to the court, what do you mean by that? And she just, well, everybody knows what that is. It's a local slang word for something.
Oh,
But they didn't explain it.
No.
I'll have to look back and see if I can find
Yeah.
the word and see what other translations there are for that. That's in 21:9.
I guess I just never heard that word before.
No. I do like what follows. The road of sinners is smoothly paved, but it leads straight down to the grave. You know, it's kind of like you're on a nice smooth road, and then the directions say, turn right on the gravel road. And, you know, moving from Michigan out here, I found that a lot of places you had to go to, you had to turn right on the dirt road. And what was it? You know, you're a redneck. I said, when the directions to your house include turn on the dirt road. When I was in one of our trips to Ireland, we had taken a side excursion, and the guy was on the bus, and he said, now we're coming up to a road, and I want you to look at the road and look at the speed. And it was a dirt road, and it was just all kinds of potholes, and the speed was 80 kilometers.
No.
And he said, trust me, nobody goes the speed limit on that road. But somebody put that up as a joke,
Oh, really?
because it would be impossible to go down the road like that.
I'll drive that fast anyway.
So, well, I don't know. Do we want to get started in chapter 22, or should we pick up with 22 next time?
I kind of like the idea of starting at 22.
Start next week?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll pick up next week with chapter 22.